There's something compelling about the way history exposes human ingenuity under pressure. And if you're hanging out here on warpaths of Europe, you already understand how necessity pushes soldiers to create solutions from whatever they have at hand. Before diving into the specific hacks, it's worth grounding ourselves for a minute in why these improvised tools mattered so much. Soldiers in the trenches, forests, cities and mountains of Europe didn't always have the luxury of well-supplied arsenals. Supply lines broke, equipment wore down, and certain missions required silence, subtlety, or improvisation. What emerged were clever, sometimes desperate, but always fascinating adaptations of everyday objects into tools that extended survival, created tactical edges, or solved problems in the moment. That's the window we're stepping into today. If you're a long-time history buff, or someone who prefers the hidden layers behind the battles, this guide is meant to give you a few new angles you may not have come across. How soldiers turned eating utensils into close-quarters tools. Mess kits weren't just for food. In several European campaigns, soldiers reinforced metal utensils by modifying their grip or bending their spine to create sturdier striking edges. These were never replacements for issued knives, but when rations arrived without standard-issue blades, or when a knife was lost during movement, soldiers found ways to make a spoon or fork serve a multi-purpose role, cutting cloth, adjusting bindings, or prying open ammunition crates. Today, the modern survivalist can apply the concept, not the weaponization. The idea is to maximize the utility of what you already carry. A simple camp utensil kit can serve as a prying tool or scraping implement when repairing gear in the field. The takeaway is adaptability, not replication. How fabric became a force multiplier in trench skirmishes. Uniform fabric, sandbags and spare cloth often played roles that went well beyond their intended purpose. Soldiers sometimes reinforced the forearms of their jackets with tightly rolled cloth to reduce abrasion or soften impacts when grappling in the mud of the trenches. This wasn't weapon creation. It was weapon mitigation, reducing vulnerability. For modern enthusiasts, the lesson is about modifying gear for protection in rough terrain. Reinforcing high-wear zones on jackets or packs with additional fabric can dramatically extend their life during long treks or historical reenactments. How soldiers used tobacco tins and small boxes for tactical deception. Metal tins were sometimes filled with stones or debris and used as noisemakers to mislead enemy patrols at night. These weren't bombs or traps, but psychological tools designed to make enemies think movement was happening in a different direction. Applied today, the concept is entirely safe. Hikers and campers can use small containers as warning rattles on pack straps to deter animals or alert themselves to pack movement in the dark. The principle is simple: sound as misdirection or signaling. Right, so let's talk about how boots and laces became emergency restraint devices. When capturing prisoners or stopping a panicked comrade from injuring themselves, soldiers occasionally used bootlaces as temporary restraints. It wasn't glamorous, but in chaotic environments where standard restraints weren't available, laces offered controlled, non-lethal immobilization. Modern survivalists can borrow the broader idea. Shoelaces are extremely versatile for securing gear, repairing tents, or binding broken straps. It's the mentality of turning soft goods into functional ties, you know. Now, here's how glass bottles became tools for signalling and distraction. Long before radios became standard, soldiers improvised with reflective surfaces. A broken bottle base could signal friendly units using sunlight over short distances. Bottles filled with pebbles served as distraction tools when tossed into underbrush. None of these were weapons in the destructive sense. They were tactical aids. In the field today, glass, or better, small metal mirrors, can be used for emergency signalling to rescuers or group members during outdoor treks. It's a simple trick, but it works. And finally, how helmet rims were adapted for utility tasks. The steel helmet wasn't just armour. Soldiers often used the rim to dig small trenches, hammer stakes, or strip bark for camouflage. This wasn't ideal, and it damaged the equipment. But in moments where speed mattered more than preservation, helmets became multi-purpose tools. For today's outdoor enthusiasts, the principle is recognizing that durable gear can serve multiple roles in emergency situations without compromising safety. It's all about making do with what you've got, isn't it? So, entrenching tools were primarily meant for digging. But, European soldiers learned pretty quickly that those wide metal blades could apply leverage quietly. Unlike rifles or bayonets, they could lift loose boards, shift debris, or, nudge doors open. These days, the modern application isn't really about combat. It's more about understanding how simple, sturdy tools can help with campsite preparation, clearing pathways, or adjusting heavy objects without needing any specialized gear. So, let's talk about how buttons and coins became, emergency shims and fasteners. The small metal items a soldier carried in his pocket often ended up serving mechanical roles, Buttons could stand in for missing screws in field equipment, and coins were used to tighten or loosen slot-fastened components. These days, the parallel is pretty straightforward. It's a good idea to keep small flat metal items in your kit for quick gear repairs. Honestly, a simple coin can tighten a tripod, a stove fitting, or even a strap anchor when you're in a pinch. Now, let's move on to how spare belts and straps became leverage tools. Belts weren't just for keeping uniforms tidy, right? They were used to pull stuck equipment, help out wounded comrades, or extend your reach when you needed to retrieve something out of arm's length. This was really an early version of what we now call improvisational rigging. Modern survivalists, they know just how valuable a strap can be when you need to secure loads or drag gear across rough, uneven ground. And then there's the clever use of pencil cases, map holders, and document tubes as concealment tools. European scouts and messengers, they often repurpose these cases and tubes to discreetly store sensitive items. They weren't hiding weapons, mind you. They were hiding information. The trick was all about misdirection. Nowadays, this idea translates quite nicely into keeping valuables like memory cards, cash, or important documents inside ordinary containers when you're travelling or out hiking. In the end, what we've got here isn't just a list of makeshift weapons. It's really a study of how soldiers across Europe turned everyday items into essential multi-purpose tools when conditions pushed them to their limits. If you're after more deep-cut history like this, make sure you subscribe to Warpaths of Europe, share this guide with someone who'll appreciate it, and, keep exploring the forgotten corners of military ingenuity.